We need critical media literacy education because without it, there's really no way to sort of foster a better media landscape. And at the core of critical media literacy is this sort of examination of power and influence of media ownership within media production. And by dissecting how these influences may affect the dissemination of news, it really sort of provides a lot of insight into media bias. And I'm not really someone who is opposed to bias in my media. Everyone has bias. But the problem with corporate media is that they disguise themselves as this sort of unbiased authority, which is in no way true. I mean, you can't really have complete financial backing from mega corporations and remain unbiased. It's just not possible. So I think critical media literacy education is crucial in terms of empowering consumers, because without it, you're really only seeing part of the narrative. And if we don't know that there are problems with our media, then how can we ever work to improve it? So we need a truly free, independent press because without it, there's really no transparency. And I don't mean to sound overly critical, but establishment news isn't really rewarded for telling the truth. I mean, they're called establishment news for a reason. Their role is to protect the establishment. And this is particularly apparent when you look at their sources. In the last few weeks, it's October 27th right now. And within the last few weeks, how many state officials, military officials, and so on have we seen on CNN, MSNBC, et cetera? And on the rare occasion when a journalist from the New York Times or the Washington Post pushes back against establishment narratives, they are often, punished or blacklisted. So it is important to note that these major outlets are not an accurate representation of a truly free fourth estate. And then, on the flip side, we need independent press like The Intercept and, Mint Press News and Truth Out, because they are really the main power holding the establishment press accountable. And it's imperative that we support these networks because they do not have the resources or the financial backing of corporations. And without them, there's really no other way to challenge the establishment. And, independent news is really the only true and honest representation of a free press. So it's important that we, provide these, outlets with views and resources so that they can remain present. The relationship of critical media literacy and the free press to civic engagement is crucial because together they sort of disrupt the fog of corporate media. Independent press and news aggregators are necessary because they cut through the distractions, the propaganda, and the corporate media echo chamber. And we need a diversified media landscape that is not limited to establishment and corporate influence. Without an independent and free press, there is no freedom of speech and there is no freedom of information. And how can you have, an empowered civic engagement when, the public is not truly informed? But this is also by design. I mean, those in power do not want us to be informed because to them, information is a weapon, and a threat to the establishment is a threat to anyone in power. And I think it's time that we recognize that we have power and we have the ability to enact change by simply breaking out of the corporate news cycle and paying more attention to independent press. So hopefully we'll see more of this as we get closer to 2024. So I don't have really any hope for the upcoming election year. Like I said earlier, this is being filmed on October 27th, and we're currently in the midst of a horrific crisis in the Middle East, one that the US is actively participating in. And so my faith in the American government is gone. However, I do have faith in people, and I think people are beginning to recognize that the fourth estate does not work for us. It works to continue the interests of the establishment and the interests of Western nations. But it has been really inspiring for me, seeing, historic levels of mobilization, not only across the country, but throughout the world. And that's not exclusive to the crisis in Gaza. Throughout this year, I think people have really started to wake up. And I think that there has been a wave of class consciousness and, seeing workers mobilize and unionize across all industries has really given me more hope for the future. But I mean, things still look pretty bleak, but I have faith in humanity, but I feel like, yeah, my faith in the government is completely gone. So yeah, not to end on a depressing note, but